Welcome to Object-Oriented Programming course. In today's lecture, we will learn about the interaction diagrams in UML. In UML, diagrams can be broadly classified into two types, structure diagrams and behavior diagrams. Interaction diagrams are part of behavior diagrams. Interaction diagrams capture the dynamic behavior of the system. An interaction is nothing but a set of messages that are interchanged between the entities to achieve certain specific task in the system. An interaction is nothing but a set of messages exchanged. Interaction diagram represents the interactions between distinct entities present. It is used in UML to establish communication between objects. Mostly, focus is on message passing and how these messages make up one functionality of the system. The details of interactions can be shown using different diagrams. So under interaction diagrams, there are multiple diagrams. So they are sequence diagram, collaboration or communication diagram, timing diagram, interaction overview diagram. Let different types of interaction diagrams. First one is sequence diagram. It shows the object interaction arranged in sequence of time. Focus is on the sequence of messages exchanged. Here you can see an example for a sequence diagram. This is the case of a ATM card verification by inserting the ATM card in an ATM machine. See here we have one actor. That actor is nothing but the ATM card user. User is inserting the card to the ATM machine. Then ATM machine will contact the ATM consortium. Then consortium will redirect the ATM verification request to the corresponding bank. Then bank will respond to the respond with the account status. In this particular example, this operation is rejected by the bank. So this kind of diagram representing the sequence of messages exchanged is the sequence diagram. Next category is collaboration diagram, which is also known as communication diagram. Collaboration diagram shows the interaction between the objects to fulfill the functionality of a use case. This diagram is suitable to depict the relationship between the objects. In the case of sequence diagram, focus was on the sequence of messages. In the case of collaboration diagram, focus is on the communication between the objects. The collaboration diagram will look something like this. Each object will be represented by different boxes and there will be communication between the objects. Next type of interaction diagram is timing diagram. Focus is on the instance at which a message is sent from one object to another object, suitable to represent the state transition of the object. Here, this diagram is focusing on the state changes happening in the object and at what time that state change is happening. That is highlighted in timing diagram. The next type of interaction diagram is nothing but the interaction overview diagram. From the name itself, it is clear that it is giving you the high level or an overview information about the interaction. This is a kind of combination between the concept of sequence diagram and the activity diagram. Let us see the details of sequence diagram. The purpose of a sequence diagram in UML is to visualize the sequence of a message flow in a system. It will show the sequence of a message flow in a system. A sequence diagram simply depicts the interactions between objects in a sequential order. Lifelines, activations, and messages are the key notations in a sequence diagram. Using fragment operator, iterations and branching can be represented in a sequence diagram. Now, as I said, lifeline, activations, and messages are the key notations. Let us see the details of lifeline. A lifeline represents a single participant in an interaction. It is represented by a vertical bar with a rectangle containing the object name. Name is optional. If the name is mentioned, the format is something like name, object name, colon, class name. The vertical bar, the vertical axis represents the time proceedings. Describes how an instance participates in the interaction. Here you can see this particular dashed line is a lifeline. The name of that lifeline is window UI. That naming format is object name colon class name. UI is the class name, window is the object name. So this dashed line represents the lifeline, and here the beginning of the time and the time is proceeding in this direction. Next part is activation. A thin rectangle on a lifeline represents the period during which an element is performing an operation. So this particular rectangle on the lifeline is the activation. It is showing the time at which some operations are happening. The top and bottom of the rectangle are aligned with the initiation and the completion time. Okay. Here the top part of, is representing the initiation of the activity or the operation, and this end part is representing the completion or the completion of the operation. Next thing is messages. The communication between objects or the lifelines is represented using messages. This arrow represents a message. The messages appear in sequential order on the lifeline. So it is represented on the lifeline, and the sequential order matters. There are different types of messages: synchronous messages, reply messages, asynchronous messages, object creation. We will see the details of each messages. First categorization is synchronous versus asynchronous messages. A synchronous message waits for a reply before any interaction can move forward. The sender waits until the receiver has completed the processing of the message. A solid arrowhead to represent a synchronous message. Okay, the solid arrowhead indicates that this particular message is a synchronous message. An asynchronous message does not wait for a reply from the receiver. The interaction moves forward irrespective of the response for previous message. A solid line with open arrowhead represents an asynchronous message. Solid line with open arrowhead represents asynchronous message. So synchronous message, also known as blocking code, that will wait for a response. Then only without receiving the response, it will not move further. So it is like I am asking you something, then I will wait for your answer. Without getting your answer, I will not tell the next content. So that is a kind of synchronous message. In the case of asynchronous message, the sender will not wait for the reply from the receiver. And the representation is like solid arrowhead indicates synchronous message, open arrowhead indicates asynchronous message. Messages defines a particular communication between two lifelines. Now let us see different categories of messages. First one is call message. A call message is a kind of message that represents an invocation of operation of target lifeline. So this lifeline is invoking a message, and that is getting executed on the target lifeline. So that is call message. Return message. Return message is nothing but the reply from the target. Return message is a reply from the target lifeline for a previous message, represented with dashed line with an open arrowhead. Here you can see a call message and corresponding return message. Self message. Self message is a kind of message that represents the invocation of message on the same lifeline. That is the difference. In the case of call message, you are invoking the functionality on a functionality which is running on the target lifeline. In the case of self message, this function is executing on the same lifeline. A recursive message. A self message sent for recursive purpose is called recursive message. A recursive message means a recursive function is nothing but a function which is making call to itself. So it is a kind of self message. Its target points to an activation on top of the activation. So this activation on top of the activation. So this the target of this message is pointing to an activation which is on top of the activation where the message was invoked. So this is self message and recursive message. Then create message or constructor message. Create message is a kind of message that represents the creation of a target lifeline. It creates the message receiver. Here you can see this example. This web customer is initiating a create message. This message is causing the creation of the target lifeline, or it is creating the, or it is constructing the target or the receiver. So it is creating the message receiver. Destroy message, it is the opposite. It is also known as destructor message. It destroys the, this destroy message is a kind of message that represents the request of the request of destroying the target lifeline. It destroys the message receiver. So once you send this message, the target lifeline is getting destroyed. It is getting destroyed. Next category is duration message or non-instantaneous message. Duration message shows the time delay between the send time and receive time of the message. So it is represented by a slanted arrow. This slanted arrow indicates that there is a time difference between the send time and time of receipt. So this is very relevant when there is communication delay. So duration message or non-instantaneous message indicate that this message will reach the destination after some time. Next type is found message or unknown sender. Found messages are from the unknown sender. A found message is used to represent a scenario where an unknown source sends the message. So this is the unknown part. It is represented with the black circle and the arrow. So the message is originated from the unknown source. So this is found message. Lost message. In this case, receiver is unknown. A lost message is used to represent a scenario where the recipient is not known to the system. So this is the unknown part. So this lost message is indicated that the destination or the receiver is unknown. Next concept in sequence diagram is the combined fragments. This combined fragment is used to represent the iterations and branching in the sequence diagram. Fragment is represented as a transparent window or box divided by horizontal dashed line for each operand. A combined fragment has a fragment operator, a guard text, and one or more operand. Operand encloses a portion of the interaction within a sequence diagram. Operands are separated by dashed line and each operand encloses one or more messages, interaction uses, or combined fragment itself. The fragment operator is in the top left corner of the box, and it indicates that the type of the fragment such as loop, break, alt, opt, etc. Corresponding to the operator, interaction constraints or the guard is represented in square bracket. So here you can see an example for a combined fragment. In this combined fragment, this logic is something like that. Based on this, okay, this condition, if balance is greater than 1, this accept message will be sent from this lifeline to target lifeline. If this condition, this guard condition or the interaction constraint is false, in that case, second operand, that is else logic, this message will be sent. So either accept or reject will be sent. It won't send both messages. So that is the logic. So this operator is nothing but the alt. Here you can see another example. This is the example for a loop. So the operator is loop. So this is the body of the loop. So this whatever is there in the body part getting executed 10 times. But within this body you can see another fragment. For that operator is break, and the guard condition is like guard text is like y greater than 0. If y greater than 0 reaches, then this particular save message is sent and it will come out of the loop. And here I said see within your fragment, a dashed line is used to separate the operands. Here we have two operands, operand 1 and operand 2, and this is a kind, see, the logic is something like, if condition is true, operand 1, else operand 2. And your operand can contain messages, interaction uses, or combined fragment. So combined fragment is nothing but this one only. Interaction uses is nothing but a kind of fragment where you are referring to another interaction. So it will see, this is an example, accept admission. So you, with this kind of box, you are referring to an interaction diagram to accept the admission. So it is making a reference to another interaction diagram, that is interaction use. Types of fragment operators: alt, alternate, alternative, multiple fragments. Only one whose condition is true will be executed. OPT, optional. The fragment executes only if the supplied condition or the guard text condition is true. In that case only it will get executed. PAR, pair, parallel. Each fragment is run in parallel. This is for the parallel execution. Loop, that is for the iteration. Critical means critical region. So when there are multiple threads in your program, only one thread will be allowed to execute the messages within that fragment. Neg means negative, means the fragment shown as invalid interaction. Ref is nothing but reference. It is referring to another fragment, refers to an interaction defined in another diagram. SD, sequence diagram. So these are the operators used in the fragment. So that is all about combined fragment. Let us see an example, sample diagram. This is place order scenario. Our scenario is something like, see, here we have an actor. So actor is placing order. So in your order there are multiple lines. For each line, so we have a fragment, that operator is loop. So whatever is coming within the body of that loop get executed repeatedly. So that condition is like, for each line for each order item. So in for each order item, this alt box is getting alt fragment is getting executed. Here that alt guard condition is like membership type. If membership type is VIP, this is the first operand part, this will get executed. That means if membership type is VIP, then it will be dispatched using courier. If membership type is ordinary, then it will be dispatched using normal mail. And so that will be repeated for each item. After that, there is another optional fragment that will check need confirmation. If the user has opted for the confirmation, then a notification will be sent to the user. So this is the scenario represented by the sequence diagram. Here we have another example. This is for a hotel booking. So from the user interface, user is making a reservation to the hotel. So first that reservation request will reach the hotel chain. So let us consider, so we are trying to book a room in Hotel Taj. So this A chain is nothing but the hotel chain. So request reach that hotel chain. Now that in that hotel chain, you have to make reservation at a particular hotel in their chain. So request will reach that particular hotel. Then for each day, if room is available, then you have to make the reservation, and the available room, whether it is matching to the room requirement. If it is a room, you will make the reservation. Okay. Once the reservation is made, you have to send a confirmation. So for each room, you will make the reservation. So this is the hotel room booking reservation scenario. So these are the major concepts about sequence diagram. Let us see the advantages. Sequence diagrams are easier to maintain and easier to generate. Using the tools like StarUML and all, you can easily draw sequence diagrams. It represents the low-level details of a UML use case. It is useful to model the logic of a complex procedure, function, or operation. Shows the interaction between the objects and components to complete a process. Let us see the disadvantages. It can be very complex when there are too many lifelines. So sequence diagram is good when the number of lifelines are limited. When there are too many lifelines, your diagram will be extremely complicated. If the order of message sequence is changed, then the incorrect results are produced. In sequence diagram, the order of messages matters. The type of message decides the type of sequence inside the diagram. Means there are different types of messages. So the type of message decides the type of sequence inside the diagram. Each sequence needs to be represented using different message numbering schemes. So when there are so many lifelines and so many messages, your numbering schemes will become very confusing, which can be a little complex in large systems. So these are the kind of disadvantage of the sequence diagram. So with this, I am concluding today's lecture. In next class, we will learn about the remaining 3 interaction diagrams, which are timing diagram, communication diagram, and interaction overview diagram. So thank you for watching.